Okay, good evening, or not good evening, good morning, everybody. Let's go ahead and get started. Let me know if you guys can hear my audio and see my screen in the chat box. Just give me a little Y or yes there. Just let me know that it is indeed working. Hope everybody's having a fantastic morning so far. Hopefully your weekend was awesome. Looking forward to trading with you guys today. Let's go ahead and jump into this. As always, I need to remind you guys about the risks involved in this market. You can lose all or more than your initial investment if you're not careful. So please be aware of how many pips you're risking on each trade, in addition to how big your lot size is and ultimately how that would affect your account if you were to lose money. So make sure that you're going through that process each and every time that you take a trade. All right, guys, well, let's jump into this. Let's go ahead and update our COT report trades. So I sent those out over the weekend. Let's start with leverage funds, and then we'll go talk about shift, or we'll update shift rather. So let me pull up my trades here and we'll get this going. What I'd like to accomplish today is I'd like to post the results, or not the results rather, but the just the update of where our trades are currently sitting from the weekend. And then I'd like to look for some additional trades that we can get into this week, like setups. We'll try to find a couple of good setups that we can get into. And then if we can get into a trade or two, we'll go ahead and wrap up the webinar. So however long that takes, we'll go. But let's go ahead and update this first. So let's go over the 6 shift trades. So with the USD CAD to start, that trade is up right now, up 30 pips. We're not closing this trade. This is just where the current setup is. So we're just kind of showing you where the trades are sitting at the moment. Okay, so that's the USD CAD. The next trade is the USD yen. Now, I did not actually take this trade because I went short instead. I mentioned that in the Telegram because it was a conflict with the shift trades. And when I have a conflict with leverage funds and shift, I default to shift. So I actually didn't take a long on the USD yen. The USD franc, and in fact, I went short, as you guys know. USD franc, this trade is down 6 pips right now. Pound CAD is up 60, and pound yen trade is up. Let's see. Oh no, this one actually hit the. Nope, this one unfortunately closed on me. So, this is out. Yeah, the stop was minus 130, so that one's done. Pound franc, this one is up 6 pips. Okay, so as far as leverage funds goes, this is the total. Let's go ahead and sum this up here. So minus 40 as of right now with leverage funds. I know we're doing a lot better on shifts, so we'll go take a look at that, but that's where I'm sitting right now. If yours is different by a lot, let us know, or let me know so I can help you. Hopefully you're not too far off from where I am there. Let's go ahead and jump over to shift. So here's, let's start with the Euro Yen. That's the number 1 shift trade this week, and that one's currently up 41 pips for me. Franc Yen is up 69. USD Yen is up 70. Euro Kiwi is up, no, excuse me, Euro Kiwi is down for me 44 pips. CAD Yen is up 73, and my Euro Aussie is down 20. Okay, so I've got 189 pips right now unrealized on the shift trades. None of my shift trades have closed. All of them are still open. I've got 4 winners, 2 losers for a total of 189 pips. So not a bad start to the week there with those shift trades. And yeah, hopefully that winds up being a good week. As a reminder, my game plan this week with these trades is to...
Hey traders, it's Steve from the future. I hope you have enjoyed this video so far. If you are getting value out of this video, be sure to hit the like button, click the subscribe button, and share your trading thoughts. I read all the comments, so feel free to ask any questions you have there too. On a side note, I host live trading calls like this one you are watching every day. Some of my biggest trading secrets I share exclusively to just the members of my program. I host these live trading calls every day, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. I also host a basic training webinar every Monday for the newer traders and the regular COT report and sentiment trading webinars every Wednesday night at 8 and 9 p.m. Eastern for the advanced and aspiring traders. All of these calls are recorded and promptly posted on the members' trading calendars at the conclusion of each call in case your schedule does not permit you to come to the live call. All of my members have complete access to the scanner. We call it Steve's Scanner. This is an institutional grade trade alert scanner that picks the direction of the week on all 28 major currency pairs and includes trading instruments like gold, silver, NAS 100, US 30. Just in the last 90 days, I have made over 3,000 pips just taking the top trade signals from the scanner at the beginning of the week and then just holding those trade alerts until Friday. If you want access to the scanner, you can start a 14-day free trial with the join link in the description to get started. Lastly, if you really want to be a full-fledged VIP member of my program to get access to things like the basic training course, live signals channel, Steve's scanner, trading calendars, and the one-on-one calls with me throughout the month, you can use code Friend of Steve, that's Friend of Steve, no spaces, at checkout and save $50 on your first month. Again, just click the link in the description below and apply that coupon to become a VIP member, and I look forward to helping you with your inevitable trading success going forward. Now, back to the video.
Hold pretty much the entire week. What we might end up doing is Wednesday, we'll probably go ahead and close like half the positions, hopefully for profit if we can hold strong up till Wednesday. I'm debating that still because it isn't technically a news event. And news events, we don't even, not all news events we do that. So um, part of me kind of thinks maybe we'll just keep these trades open the entire week. But it just kind of depends. Um, uh, just kind of depends. Um, so, Jim, if all of your trades closed out via trailing stop, um, but maybe we should chat sometime because that's a pretty tight trailing stop. If they closed out, we actually don't use a trailing stop anymore. We just manually move the stop losses. If anybody's wondering that, um, I mean, obviously, you guys can do what you want with your you guys can do what you want with your trades, but yeah, let's definitely meet just so that we can get that trailing stop aligned better with the market because all of these should still be open right now. Okay, so hopefully everybody else's results are similar to that. You've got, like I said, 4 profitable to 2 currently down, and we've got a full week ahead of us. So let's see how that plays out. All right, so let's go ahead and jump. Let's kind of switch gears now, and let's start talking about like more opportunities throughout the week we can get into. Let's get an update here on the scanner. I'm going to go ahead and just refresh this just because I haven't refreshed this morning. So let's go ahead and see what we've got on the scanner here. And let's start by going over the biggest shifts this week. So looking at the scanner, one of the things you'll notice is a lot of yen. Basically buy the Japanese yen right now is kind of the big thing, which is subsequently going to cause you to short things like the euro yen, franc yen, dollar yen, CAD yen. So that's kind of the general consensus as of right now is to short base currencies that have the yen as the quote. Okay, so for those of you, so like something I often hear people say is I went short the yen. Well, what does that mean? Did you short the yen or did you short the dollar yen? Because it's two very different things. Because if you short the dollar yen, that means you shorted dollars and bought yen. Okay. Because when you buy or sell a currency pair, you're subsequently buying one currency and selling the other. So if you short the pair, the dollar yen, that actually means you bought yen for the week, and that you're basically selling dollars. So my objective with this trade is to like with the dollar yen short is to sell dollars and buy yen. Mostly I'm trying to buy yen, which is why I went short the dollar yen. It's why we went short the franc yen, is so that we could buy Japanese yen. But yeah, so the biggest shift this week is the euro yen. So I am expecting to move to the downside on the euro yen by the end of the week. So far, so good. Um, if you actually pull up the dollar yen, or excuse me, the euro yen, it's generally been down. Let's take a look. Yeah, so this yellow area is the weekend. It looks like the earlier the better this week. The earlier you were able to get into your trades, it looks like the better. I took my trades at 8 a.m. Mountain yesterday, so that would have been around 10, or not 8 a.m. p.m. I took my trades around 8 p.m. Mountain, which would have been, like I said, 10 p.m. Eastern time. So like I said, earlier the better. Looks like would have been what would have paid most traders the best this week. Even if you got in late, you should be profitable on these trades as of right now. And hopefully we continue to see these come down. We're going to look for some specific entries. I'm going to show you some entries I'm going to have my eye on this one and a few other pairs. But this is the number one shift trade this week, is the euro yen short. So, whatever happens this week, by the end of the week, we should see this market lower from, basically generally this area right here. We should see the market go lower by the end of the week. And then another good one is the franc yen short, dollar yen short. Let's take a look at both of those. Franc yen is going to be a solid one as well. This has actually been really, really good. This franc yen short. And yeah, same thing. Basically, the expectation is that this market will wind up lower than where this yellow area is to start the week. So far, so good. Let's see if it continues. Another really good one would be the dollar yen short. I think we looked at this one. Let's take a look at it again. This one's almost down a full percent today, actually. Almost a full percent, which is really, really awesome. So down is the idea with the dollar yen. And yeah, so far so good. How far could this go? Well, let's see. The next strong demand zones on the dollar yen. Here, let's remove this weekend indicator for a moment. I can see that there's demand right in here. There's something there. There's definitely a few areas right in here worth mentioning. In fact, let's actually pull up. Um, oh, I've got these up here for some reason. Here, let's go ahead and X this out. There we go. Let's go ahead and add some of those indicators. So Sonar Lab, the order block indicator is what I use with these guys. So let's pull this up. Order blocks with signals. If you're ever curious what I pull up, yeah, right in here is kind of what I thought. So the dollar yen does have demand, but it's all the way down here. So the expectation on the dollar yen with such a strong shift to send this currency pair lower would be to get the dollar yen down into this area at the very least. And how many pips away is that on this higher time frame? Yeah, that's another at least 60 pips to go. So definitely don't cut yourself short on these trades. If we get there by tomorrow or Wednesday, I kind of think that might be appropriate to take some profits. Like I said, I do want to leave these trades open till Friday so that we can follow the strategy rules. But if we do hit a significant demand and it's just before the holidays, before Thanksgiving, I think that would be very appropriate to take some profits there. I think that makes a lot of sense. I actually didn't do this analysis on the franc yen and euro yen. Maybe we'll go back and do that. But let's pull up the order block indicator for Lux Algo. So if you just go to indicators and just search, there's a plethora of indicators you can use. And I don't use a lot of indicators, but I like to use some of these, like this order block detector from Lux Algo. This is very helpful. Yeah, and here you go. So actually, let's turn off this one. And this has a sell block right here, right now. So, and it's in the middle of a move to the downside. So to me, that's again a really strong indication that this dollar yen is not done going down. Very much so has more to go to the downside. I think traders who get long right now will have a terrible Thanksgiving. We'll just put it that way. So let's have a great Thanksgiving and let's stay short on these well, what we want to do is buy the yen, but we want to do that by shorting the dollar yen, by shorting the euro yen, shorting the franc yen. That should pay out dividends by the end of what's already doing so, but we'll pay out even more dividends by the end of the week. Um, and by the way, historically, guys, I've usually had a pretty good Thanksgiving week trading. I feel like I could be wrong on this, but I feel like I've never had a losing week um, the week of Thanksgiving. It just seems to be like a pretty good week. And the week after usually seems to be pretty good too. So, and that's kind of my game plan. So let's talk about the game plan this week for the rest of the year. So I plan to continue to trade like normal until um, about the second week of December, second or third week, and then we'll probably slow down with a lot of trades. I probably won't even post weekend trades starting in, I think the last day is the 9th. And then we'll trade the week of the 10th to the 16th. And then I kind of just take those last 2 weeks down because the trading is not as good. However, I will still be updating the scanner. So throughout the rest of the year, I will still be putting new scanner signals in, and the scanner will update with sentiment signals and all that kind of stuff. So if you still want to trade that week before Christmas or the week, between Christmas and New Year's, you can still use the scanner. I'm just going to put a little disclaimer at the top, just that just says, hey, consider the market conditions type of thing, because you could probably still squeeze out some pretty solid trades if you're itching to trade during that time period. I would suggest that if you're new to trading and you've never traded during that time period before, maybe just like have some fun in a demo account. Don't try to go really hard on a prop firm account or something like that. Maybe be a little bit more cautious with what you do that way. I think that would probably be the way to go. Okay, so just a little FYI on that. Okay, so let me show you. Let's actually go back to the CAD yen or franc yen and um, euro yen. This one actually does have a buy block that we're in right now on the franc yen, so maybe this one's going to have a little bit more trouble breaking lower in the immediate term. At the same time, there are some blocks down here that I do believe the market may try to get to. So that is on the docket. Also, when you pull up Sonar Lab, all these demand zones down here have not been tapped into yet. So if the banks do want to send this lower, there are quite a few blocks down here that the market may try to snag. The other encouraging thing is that we did, even though we are coming into a little bit of demand right now, we did just form a sell block right here. So there are opposing powers trying to push this market down and up right now. We'll see on the franc yen. Going back to the euro yen just for a brief moment, this one did tap into some demand this morning right here. But similar to the euro yen, or excuse me, to the dollar yen, this does have more demand that we have not tapped into down here. So we'll see if we can get down into that. Okay. And okay, so continuing on the scanner, Euro Kiwi sell this week should be pretty good. These shifts are not as good. You'll notice there's a little bit of a drop off between these three, and then you get down into the Euro Kiwi, and the shifts are not as good. So, like I said, these three are my focus right here. The euro yen, franc yen, dollar yen shorts for the week. Sentiment, unfortunately, doesn't align at the moment. The shifts are big enough that the signal is still the sell. And I feel confident with that, even if sentiment hasn't quite caught up to the shift. So for me, the shift is more of a leading indicator of what's going to happen next. Sentiment often is more of a confirming indicator. You guys will see this in the market as you use the scanner. The scanner often aligns with the direction that you want to go, but it's not always going to be the case. So there's a little bit more push to kind of trust the shift a little bit more because it is a leading indicator of what's to come next. My favorite trades are still when you can get sentiment and shift to align together. But if you can't get them to align, that's not a deal breaker Just want to make sure that that's very clear, that that's not a deal breaker. Okay. But let's look at the Euro Kiwi. That is one of the ones I am um, looking for a sell this week on, and it has been down, which is good. Not a ton. It's actually come up a little bit. Now we'll see if it starts to come down. This actually might not be a bad entry here soon, but this euro yen, actually, this is good. Let's talk about the price action on here. This is actually really good price action. Um, yeah, this is worth talking about. So, okay, so let's break this one down because this actually could have an imminent signal if you want to take an extra trade. So let's break down this just general area right here because this is a big deal. So one, we know this is like the third or fourth best shift this week, which is really good, and it's the shift is telling us to sell. So keep that in mind, mental note there as you're looking at this. Then what we've got up here is we had a high, we formed a high. This high was not higher than this high, which is a key thing to note. It did have a pretty solid pullback. This pullback did come back down and retest this little support area right here. And then it came back up, tried one more time to come back up, and actually formed a lower high that's lower than this high, which is obviously lower than this high, which is another key point. Then when it came down again, look what it did. It actually broke through that little support zone that we talked about. So that's a BOS right there. It might even be a change of character. Um, and then the market tried to come back up again. And at the moment, it does appear that that is failing one more time. So if this winds up being a high right there, then we've now got 3 consecutive lower highs in a row, which would be a strong indication that this market's probably going to indeed head to the downside. Um, that's exactly what you want to see. This is really, really good. So this actually might be like an additional trade you could just get into right now. I think might actually be worth it. Um, Assuming that this is an action, if this is a high right here, if this comes back up and breaks this old high, I don't feel as good about the trade anymore. The confirmation's not as good. But like I said, the storyline here is that you've got a series of lower highs. You're actually forming lower lows. You have a break of structure right here, which is really nice. You've got a shift that indicates a move to the downside for this week on the Euro Kiwi. So all of that seems to look really good. So I like this one. We might take a trade on that. That might be the trade we take in addition. Um, that's a good one. CAD yen, like I said, is also a sell this week. No sentiment signal. Um, Shift is negative, decently. Not to the point of a strong sell, but it is negative. So that is a sell signal this week on the CAD yen. Let's see how that's played out this morning. And yeah, this has been extremely bearish, um, which is what you would expect for the week. Um, yeah, this has been very, very bearish. So this is the start of the week in this yellow area. We would expect this market to go lower by the end of the week. Okay. And so far, so good. All right. Okay, so what do we have here? Well, this thing just like it's just been just falling apart, right? That's exactly what it's been doing. It does have okay, this is good to see. So right here you've got a little bit of demand right here. So this could see this has already come down a lot. It's got a little bit more to go before it tags into that demand. But as soon as it tags into that demand, you might see it go up a little bit or even just stall out. So we want to see if there's something even below that. Like, is there, yeah, okay, good. Yeah, there's stuff below here. Um, yeah, so we do have other demand zones down here. The only thing I can see as far as price action goes on this higher time frame that gets me excited is we do have that is a um this is a lower high than this high, but it is a higher high than this high over here. which makes you wonder, like, is this going to go like that's kind of a conflicting signal because you could say, well, this is lower than this, but it's higher than this. So is it bullish or bearish? I couldn't tell you. At the same time, this has been a very aggressive move to the downside, and it has broken multiple structures on the way down this week and even in last week. At the end of last week, it's been coming down. So I think the consensus with the fact that you do have a negative shift should indicate that this is going to continue lower this week. Um, and then the demands on here, this is some significant demand right there. Right here, I showed you is a big demand zone. And I would even say that there's probably, maybe even some stuff in here worth looking at too. So there's actually quite a few. In fact, if you turn on the order blocks, let's see what happens. Oh, they're saying it's right there, actually. Let's see. Let's try Sonar Lab. Okay, Sonar Lab does have several in there and some down here. So we'll see. I'm gonna strike this one out. I think this is more likely actually right here is probably where the market's going to want to try to go. So with that in mind, this actually does have another, yeah, like 50 pips to go before it hits into that. If and when it gets into there, I think we should maybe even consider taking some profits this week because it might be a little bit of a slower week, but I don't want to over exaggerate that because historically, for me at least, the week of Thanksgiving tends to actually be a pretty big week. So far, it's turning out that way. Like the markets have been moving pretty aggressively, at least here to start the week. Um, and I've even woken up on Thanksgiving morning and seen big moves in the market. So I'm not trying to say that it's not going to move. It definitely will move, because that is very much a local. When I say local, like it's not a holiday that affects the rest of the forex world. So it's kind of important to understand, recognize that London will be in full force on Thursday. They're not going to slow down. I mean, they might just a little bit in certain areas, but I think historically it's kind of their day to shine if that makes sense. So you'll see a lot of movement during the London session still. Um, okay, so that's about it there. And then there's some other good ones like this Euro Aussie sell is a good one this week. Let's see how that's doing so far. I believe it's been down. Yes, it has not a ton, but yeah. Oh, this is actually good. Let's look at this price action real quick because this is another good one. Um, yeah, this is really good. So this has a decent shift this week to sell the Euro Aussie. You've got a nice head and shoulders pattern right here. Um, a nice um, head and shoulders pattern here. A little bit of a trend line starting out. This is an apex high. These highs are lower than this high. We've got a little bit of a break of structure right through here. Um, so yeah, this one could actually break lower. Um, and that would be the expectation. I think I like some of the other ones. Jeff says, "Can any way we can look at pound yen long today?" I'm not looking to go long on the pound yen. Is let's see. Is the pound yen and is that a long signal this week? Let's take a look on the scanner here. No, as far as I can tell, it's a sell signal this week. We did go long on the leverage funds data, but that trade is already closed out. So I'm not getting back into that. And honestly, I didn't really want to take that anyway because the scanner was indicating a sell. So I kind of had two things like leverage funds was saying to buy the pound yen, but then here I am with um, you know, um the scanner was indicating a sell. So right now, it's the scanner does this sometimes. You'll notice it says loading on some of these, and that's just because the sentiment data is pulling it's pulling information from different places, and sometimes that data can get lagged and bogged down. Usually if you wait 10 or 15 minutes, it'll come back. And you just have to refresh your page. Um, just an FYI, sometimes that's going to show up and um, it's mostly going to be the sentiment that where that's going to affect things. Otherwise, the COT data, I've never seen a lag with the COT data because it's a direct, everything's direct, um, and it updates once a week. So, and this is a question people ask me a lot. They say, hey, is the COT data like how often does that update? It updates every Saturday. I was actually able to go in Saturday and update the COT data early on Saturday, but I wasn't able to get the signals out until late Saturday or even early Sunday, is when I sent out the signals. Um, but yeah, if you actually look at the positive shifts this week, there's not a lot of them. I don't know if you guys have looked at this yet, but let's look at it now. So if you look at the scanner, you will see that, like the COT shift on the NZD franc, not that's the best one as far as a buy goes. That's really not that significant. And I don't know if that's even, I didn't even take a trade on that. Did that even go up? It did. It is going up at the moment. But that is the one of the weaker signals on here. So I didn't even take this trade. It looks like it's doing okay. It's doing okay. Yeah. But so I didn't even take any long positions. There's not a lot of long positions this week on the scanner. That could change if sentiment starts to align with the COT signal later in the week. So for example, with the NZD franc, if the sentiment turns into a buy, um, that could actually get us a little bit more motivated to jump into the NZD franc as far as sales go. Looking for, or not sales, as far as buys go, we might actually take that. But I didn't take any, I didn't buy the Aussie franc, I didn't buy the NZD franc, I didn't buy the pound franc. I've been focused on these ones because these are the big shifts right here. In fact, all of these are bigger. All of these negative shifts right here up until here are bigger than the NZD franc. Yeah, all of these are bigger. NZD yen, Euro CAD, Aussie yen, pound yen, all of those are bigger. So, so that's my direction this week. Is mostly shorts and like I said, these three right here are my big focuses. However, that did look like a pretty good setup on the Euro Kiwi. Um, let's actually go back and maybe look at an opportunity to take an additional trade. This is what, like I said, this is one of the things I wanted to do is see if we could get into an additional opportunity here. Um, so I'm thinking about either entering to sell now, or is there another place we could do this? The Euro yen, let's see, is there a place here? Actually, there is a place here that we should look at. So I have my eyes set on kind of this area right here. If the market comes back up, that may not be a bad place to get into another sell, is right up in there. Let's turn on these order blocks. Yep, there is one there. Let's turn on this order block. Okay, there's something up in there. Maybe we can do something like this to include both of those. That might be good. So this one actually could have a good sell. This is the best trade of the week as far as shift goes. And I don't think I analyzed this one like I did the Euro Kiwi. So let me do this real quick. So right here, you had a nice support zone. We had a break of structure right here. And then we had a um, we have an apex high up here. We have a lower high right here. That high actually came up and tagged liquidity right here and then fell off right there after it tagged up into this. So all I'm hoping for now is kind of a similar thing. Let's see if we can tag up into the liquidity that's kind of nestled in here. And if we can sell in there, then I think that would be a really good little trade. Let's turn on those order block indicators again. So if we were to do this, the trade would look something like this, where you sell, about here, stop out up here type of thing. And then we can ride this down into some of these order blocks down in here. Um, I mean, we could try to go even a little bit further. I might even put a target down to here. That's a little bit more hopeful thinking, but not a bad place to try to go. So I'm gonna post this one. I like this. I like that it's the best trade of the week as far as the scanner goes and shift data goes. So, if this does come up into there, I feel pretty good about this entry. The RRs on it, the RR ratio is really good. So risk management's looking really good there. So let's go ahead and post this trade, and we'll go ahead and start to wrap up. If you guys have other questions, let me know in the chat box and we'll get those answered. Another thing I wanted to, here, let's adjust this just a little bit right there. There we go. Another thing I wanted to just mention is this week's going to be a short week for me as far as webinars go. I do have several family things coming up, with the Thanksgiving and stuff like that. Still plan to continue to trade and post signals and close signals this week and manage our trades per usual, but I'm gonna be doing basic training today, which by the way, if you guys have something you'd like me to talk about in basic training, feel free to uh send me a here, let me get this going. There we go. If you have any requests for basic training today, let me know now so that we can go ahead and get something prepared before that basic training. That'll be in a couple of hours. So we'll do basic training today. For those of you that want to come to that, it will be recorded as well if you can't make it. And tomorrow we'll do live trading. But Wednesday, I'm not going to be hosting any webinars. Thursday, no webinars, and Friday, no webinars. So just going to be a short week with webinars this week. And then, but trading usual, everything's going to be the same. I probably won't post any trades Thursday, but you know, today, tomorrow, Wednesday, and Friday we'll be taking and closing trades. All right. Another thing too, guys, I thought about this morning. So it does look like we're starting to have a good week with a lot of these trades. Everything's looking pretty good to start the week. You're gonna see fluctuations. Like one moment you'll look at your phone and you'll see your trades going in your favor pretty good. They'll be looking pretty good. And then another moment, you're going to look at your phone and you're going to be like, I was up more just like 2 hours ago. What's going on? It's normal. Like that's literally trading, right? So I know those emotions. And so I'm telling you right now, it's going to drive you crazy. You're going to have more time on your hand, when you're out at dinner on Friday and, somebody, you're going to, you're gonna have time. You're going to want to like whatever, look at your phone because you're with family or something, and I don't know, or you're just gonna have more time. You're gonna be out of your element. And so one of the things you're gonna do is probably pick up your phone. That's all I'm trying to say. And so because of that, you're going to be looking at your trades a lot, probably Thursday, Wednesday, or even just today. And so one of the things I'm asking you to do is try not to like limit that, because it'll drive you absolutely crazy if you're looking at your phone every 5 minutes to see how your trades are doing, because there's literally nothing you can do with these trades because they're just, I mean, unless I tell you to close them. Um, my thought is if you're going to look at your trades that often, just close them now. Like, if it's going to drive you that crazy, just close them now. Um, because you shouldn't keep them open if you're worried about them that much, right? Um, so try to limit how much you look at your phone because it will drive you crazy. I've done that, and I only say this because I'm literally guilty of it. I'm guilty of that. So I'm just telling you right now that's just going to be a theme of the week is looking at your phone far too often. So uh and it will drive you crazy. Um and the other thing too, guys, is the more often you look at your phone or your trades, the more likely you are going to mess with your trades too. It's just a fact, right? Um so I would suggest that try not to mess with your trades. Um try not to check them so often. Um, it's kind of interesting. When the trades are losing, we tend to not mess with them a lot, tend to just let them go to their stops. But when they're winning, we tend to mess with them a lot more. So and we tend to look at them a lot more too when they're winning because you kind of get that like dopamine reaction when you look. It's the same thing you pull up social media or um I don't like, oh, or like let's say it's payday or something like that. You pull up your phone on payday, you get like, oh, good, there's money there in my account. But the opposite happens. Like if you know it's not payday, you don't want to look at your bank account, right? Like I know those feelings, right? And so that's literally how it's going to feel with your trades. Is so when you're winning them a lot, it's more fun to see, oh, am I up more? Am I up more? So you're going to look at it more, so you're more likely to mess with your trades. When you're losing, you're not as likely to look at your trades because it's painful to look at them. And so you're more likely to follow the rules when you're actually losing, but when you're winning, you're going to close your trades early. So it's a little bit of a doom cycle. And so I'm telling you right now how to like just be aware that that is what it's like a physiological reaction. You're going to feel it. It's called psychology for a reason. And so if your game plan is to look for extra trades, then go ahead and look at your trades because you're looking for more trade opportunities. But if all you do and your game plan is just to take the 6 or 12 trades a week, then you're done. Like don't look at your trades again until it's time to do something with them. Um, I'll be honest though, like I said, I'm guilty of that. So I still look at my trades a couple times a day. I do try to limit it to at least, not to at least, but I try to cap it at 3 times. So I like to check in the morning. I might check in the afternoon. I might check in the evening, but it's one time each time. It's not like, okay, it's the afternoon. I'll check. Oh, I checked it 30 minutes ago. I'm going to check again. Um, there's no reason to do. I mean, you don't look at your 401k that often, right? And I know this is trading, so it's a little bit different, um, but because it is a week to week trade, there's just no reason to look at your phone, um, 40, 50 times in a week, which I do think, if you were to actually count how many times you look at your trades, I would suspect that most people are guilty of dozens and dozens of times looking at their trades throughout the week. Um, and that's okay. It's not like it's a terrible thing. I'm just letting you know that one of the things that ends up happening is you typically end up messing with your trades when you look at them very often. So just be aware of that. Um, I think it's more of a pleasant surprise to wake up once a week or once a day and just be like, okay, I've done my routines. Let's go check on these. And I'll actually share another thing with you guys with that too. So I've been trying to improve my routines. Like I've been trying to get up, make the bed, and I've been trying to work out. In fact, that's kind of why my hair's crazy, is because that's what I was doing before I got up to the webinar. And so I've been trying to improve my routines. And I actually try to leave the trading alone until I'm ready, right? So I don't want to get up and start like let's say a workout, or I like to, one of the things I've been doing too is I've been trying to eat healthier in the mornings. And it's just a new thing that I'm doing. I'm not saying you have to do this. It's just something that I'm doing to improve my routines. And so if I this is what happened to me. If I would wake up, and this is what I was doing, I'd wake up and I'd look at my trades, and if I was down, sometimes that would actually determine if I was going to go work out. Because if I was down, I didn't feel like it. Now, if I woke up and all my accounts were up in the morning, then I'd be like, okay, I'm going to work out. Now, I don't want that to be a thing anymore. So I'm like, okay, well, I either need to be stronger than that or I just need to remove the distraction. So I've elected to just remove the distraction by, I don't know if I'm up right now, but I'm going to go start my workout. I'm going to go start the things, the routines, the rituals that I know that are good for me that I need to start doing. I'm going to do that now. And then, the whole time I am wondering, like, am I up or am I down? I don't know, but it's okay because I have a stop loss and I used a trailing, not a trailing. I use a stop loss and I have a lot size calculator to protect me. So even if I am down, it's okay, right? And
Hey traders, it's Steve from the future. I hope you have enjoyed this video so far. If you are getting value out of this video, be sure to hit the like button, click the subscribe button, and share your trading thoughts. I read all the comments, so feel free to ask any questions you have there too. On a side note, I host live trading calls like this one you are watching every day. Some of my biggest trading secrets I share exclusively to just the members in my program. I host these live trading calls every day, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern. I also host a basic training webinar every Monday for the newer traders and the regular COT report and sentiment trading webinars every Wednesday night at 8 and 9 p.m. Eastern for the advanced and aspiring traders. All of these calls are recorded and promptly posted on the members' trading calendars at the conclusion of each call in case your schedule does not permit you to come to the live call. All of my members have complete access to the scanner. We call it Steve Scanner. This is an institutional grade trade alert scanner that picks the direction of the week on all 28 major currency pairs and includes trading instruments like gold, silver, NAS 100, US 30. Just in the last 90 days, I have made over 3,000 pips just taking the top trade signals from the scanner at the beginning of the week and then just holding those trade alerts until Friday. If you want access to the scanner, you can start a 14-day free trial with the join link in the description to get started. Lastly, if you really want to be a full-fledged VIP member of my program to get access to things like the basic training course, live signals channel, Steve's scanner, trading calendars, and the one-on-one calls with me throughout the month, you can use code friend of Steve, that's friend of Steve, no spaces, at checkout and save $50 on your first month. Again, just click the link in the description below and apply that coupon to become a VIP member, and I look forward to helping you with your inevitable trading success going forward. Now, back to the video.
so that's kind of what I've been doing now because to me, I want to protect um, what I'm trying to do physically and emotionally and even spiritually too. I'm trying to protect those things um, uh, by not letting the trade become my life, right? Um, and so I would suggest a similar approach too. Uh, you'll enjoy the trading a lot more. Um, so anyway, I just wanted to share that because I think that will help you guys this week. I've noticed that during holidays it's pretty antsy um, because either you're antsy because you're up a lot and you want to close your trades, or if you're down for whatever reason, or if you're feeling anxiety financially, like it just seems to affect those kinds of things, and you don't want that to affect you. You want to enjoy the holidays. Um, and you do want to enjoy the family and those kinds of things, right? And your friends. Um, and you want to enjoy the other simple things that you're working on personally. And you don't want to let trading rob you of that because that's at least been my experience is if you allow it, it will rob you of that. So don't let that happen. Okay, so anyway, I just wanted to share that because I feel like psychology is an even bigger deal during the holidays, and it really does affect people, including myself, big time. And I've now traded through 11 years now, so I've been through this many times. Um, okay, all right, I'm just about ready to post this. Okay, that looks good. I'm gonna go ahead and post that trade. I like this one. I like this trade setup. We're just gonna let this do its thing. Um, yeah, if it comes up and tags us into here, I'm excited to take a sell. If it just goes straight down, that's fine because we're already in a sell anyways. We're already selling this, but I'm just looking for an additional setup there. Okay. Roger says if I had hair, it would be crazy too. That's funny. I love that. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate each one of you. Appreciate the work that you're putting into the markets. Let's have a fantastic week. Let's do some great things. And we'll see you guys we'll see some of you in basic training this afternoon, and the rest of you will probably see tomorrow in live trading. So thanks for coming, guys, and have a fantastic rest of your day.